Well, that's disappointing. Back in my father's day, every human that dared to make their camp close to a vampire's castle would be carrying at least a pound of silver or garlic with them. And yet, you unwashed ruffians can't even mete out a silver bullet in my direction. Disappointing. Shh, you've already lost, little bandits. You should just hold still. The venom on my fangs will take the pain away from my bite. If you don't struggle, you might even enjoy your last few seconds before Really? After watching all of your friends die, you truly thought an iron dagger in my throat would be enough to at least tickle me? Well, I was going to do this gently, but it seems you insist on being difficult. Oh, the blood of a coward. Bandits and slavers always taste the same. It's not nearly as good as the blood of a lover, but I suppose I can't be picky about my meals. Oh? I thought I'd killed all of you. But it would appear there's one more of you still skulking about. There's no point in hiding. I can hear you. Would you prefer I come to you instead? So be it. There you are, little crook. Did you enjoy the show? You really ought to have thought twice about making camp in my territory before... Wait a second. Your clothes. Those chains. You're not a bandit, are you? You're a prisoner. I didn't realize they kept prisoners. Oh dear. Please avert your eyes. You do not want to see what remains of your captors. It's very, very messy. I assume you are not in my territory by choice. Are these chains keeping you in place? I will have you free in a moment. Please do not move. There. You don't think you can walk? So be it. My castle's not far. I will carry you there. Oh, I am far, far stronger than the average human. Now, fold your gaze into my cloak, little one. You do not want to see what remains of the bandits. Tell me, what is your name? A fine name. I am Caspian Van Barov, and though the circumstances are far from preferable, I welcome you to my realm. It is only a small part of the deep woods, but it is my home, and my territory. Hardly unreasonable to expect crooks and scoundrels to mind their distance from a small portion of the woods they already thought was haunted in the first place, but the audacity of prideful men and women still continues to astound me. And the cruelty even more so. I am sorry we could not meet under better circumstances. There. We are out of their camp. None of the other creatures of the night will dare attack us, but if they are bold enough to try, I can assure you, it will only take a second for me to cut them down. I can hear your heart pounding. Are you afraid? I understand your fear. You've lived through an unspeakable nightmare, and I am sure every child has been told since birth to avoid the clutches of a vampire in the dead of night. But I assure you, you will not be harmed while you are under my care. And we are almost at my castle now. Please at least stay for a meal. You don't have much strength left. I will ask for a little blood in return for this once you have enough rest and had time to regain your strength. But only then. Until then, you are safe. Is that a reasonable request? Thank you. Now stay strong, human. We are approaching the front gates now. Truly imposing, Castle Van Barov, isn't it? It's designed to keep intruders out, and its effectiveness has varied over the last few years. To my kind, the dark stones are of home to us. They're quite comfortable. I welcome you. This is the main hall. The dining hall is over to the left. To the right is my laboratory, and upstairs leads to mine and the servants' quarters on the 3rd floor. Oh, not living people. No, I do not keep slaves. They are humans that have been dead for centuries, reanimated through necromancy and blood magic, and they serve most willingly. When I beckoned forth their souls and offered them another chance at walking the mortal realm again, in exchange for service to me, they were more than eager to return. And a good thing, too. These large halls get a little lonely without good company. At any rate, sit down. Make yourself comfortable. I don't have any food for humans, so I'm going to go heading off for a deer or something that I can have my servants cook for you. If you need anything, just ask Bartleby, my butler. He's the skeleton with an ice pick in the skull and a fetish for ghastly top hats. You can't miss him. What if you try to run? If you wish to run, go ahead. What? Were you expecting more from that sentence? You're a guest, not a prisoner. A gracious host doesn't force his guests to stay against their will. That would be terribly ungentlemanlike. You thought I was planning on drinking your blood? I was. But only if you would allow me to do so. And I would ask only for no more than a few drops. Nothing to put you in danger. I cannot fathom the thought of asking you for such a large favor without something in return, so I will be back momentarily with fresh meat, some apples from the forest, and perhaps a ball of cabbage or two. Is there anything from that list you would prefer to have altered? What? Are you put off by my hospitality? Oh, please. Humans, you're all so alike. You make up these tales about how ravenous and murderous monsters can be, and yet you never even stop to consider what a dull and uneventful life we lead, cowering from superstitious naysayers and self-proclaimed vampire hunters. Why, it's thanks to them that I am unable to walk the world in the first place, without catching an arrow or two in my back. Hardly enough to kill me, though. Sometimes I wish it would. Well, remaining isolated from my small corner of the woods where they want me to stay, away from all the merriment and cheer of life and even unlife can offer, can get terribly boring. All I do is offer my skeletal servants around. Nobody ever visits or brings gifts. The only polite visitor I've had in the last decade was a curious writer. You are surprised creatures of the night get bored? Oh, you have no idea. I'm sure to the average human peasant sitting in a tall, empty castle all by your lonesome, with a pile of old world knowledge that I am never going to get to share with anyone for all of eternity, knowing that someday some plucky adventurer is likely going to come along and stake me in my sleep and steal it all for themselves, sounds fun. It's not, by the way. Oh yes, being a cannibalistic menace to society certainly has its downsides. So I welcome your company, as I really must apologize for the harm I've inflicted upon your captors. That was a sight I would have preferred you'd have not seen had I known who you were. Now, I shall return. I would recommend you lay your head down and rest while Bartleby watches over you, but if you feel restless, feel free to explore the castle at your leisure. However, I must insist you avoid the dungeons on the lowest floor. There are things down there humans are not meant to see. Nothing sinister, just creations, in case the castle was ever to be attacked again, and only for that purpose. Good evening. There. How was that? Is it to your liking? The soup is an old recipe from back in the 200s. You'd likely never find a person alive that knows it. Fortunately for us, Bartleby is undead. What is it? You're shaking. You are cold? I suppose I never thought of that. I have no need to worry about the cold. You should eat your soup then, while it's hot. In the meantime... Bartleby, get a fire going in the spare, and fetch the young man a proper coat to warm himself. In the meantime... Here. Come under my cloak. Sit beside me and eat your stew. I will keep you warm until Bartleby returns. There. Is that better? Good to hear it. So, tell me, what were you doing in the captivity of those ruffians? Did they take you from your family? Jump your cart? Sold? You were sold to them. By your family? What? Whatever for? Why would they do something so horrible? You are sick? And they needed money? So they sold off their dying child? That's utterly detestable. And they insist we are the monsters? Little one, look at me. Look into my eyes. Let me see your eyes. You are sick, you say? I do not see anything in your eyes. What kind of sickness ails you? I see. Yes, there are some signs. It could be a lot of things. It's likely fatal. Yes, so I've heard. I know for a few of the possibilities there are no known remedies. Tell me, how long have you had this condition? 3 years? Thank you. I would have to consult the old medical tomes within the library. Perhaps I could educate myself in this blight again. I shall keep this in mind, but... Please, on to lighter topics. You are alive, and you are safe. I promise you, while you are under my cloak and within my walls, no harm shall come to you. Be them a ruffian, or a treacherous family member. They shall not harm you. You have a question? Of course. I am willing to answer. What became of the writer? The one that visited my castle long ago. Ah, Sylvia Nairine. We chatted. I gave her knowledge in exchange for a little bit of her blood. She was quite the intellectual. I believe she mentioned she was going to write a book called Walduran Woods and What Lies Within. She was very proud of that title. I never found out if she finished it. I'm not exactly able to walk into a human settlement and check. Have you heard of it? No? Ah. As it is, then. Ah, here's Bartleby. Thank you, my faithful butler. You may retire to your coffin for the rest of the night. Here you are, dear one. Raise your arms, and I will drape this coat around you. There. That should feel much warmer. How are you feeling? And embrace. It's alright. It's alright. You're alright, little one. Safe and sound now. I promise. Now, come with me. We are going upstairs. There is a spare guest room on the 3rd floor. I had it reserved in case any of my family members were still alive and came to visit. It was polished and furnished a decade ago, and it hasn't been used since, so it should still be in pristine condition. You may rest as long as you like. I understand the night is a time for us and not for humans. You must be tired. Here we are. Bartleby has lit a fire for you under the mantel. This room should be nice and warm. There is a queen-size bed for you, and the closet contains several baron's gowns and baroness dresses. You may have any that fit you. Other than that, let me see. The bathroom is down the hall behind the door with the blue glass torches. If you require a hot bath during the day, wake one of my servants. They will help you. Here, allow me to ease you into bed. There. Are you comfortable? Myself? I do not sleep during the night time, little one. This is my time to greet the world, such as it is. You can go ahead and rest. I will attend to my own devices in the meantime. Such as? I have a garden that I maintain, a lab where I brew concoctions, and of course, the matter of studying your blight. There is something I wish to know about your condition. But that is for me to worry about, not you. You just need to focus on healing. Can you do that for me? Thank you. It's strange. I was planning on leaving this room to you and letting you sleep, but I don't want to leave. I suppose I have missed the feeling of being with another person. I had forgotten what it felt like. I'm not ready to go back to being alone just yet. Do I have friends or family? None. At least, not anymore. My mother and father were once powerful vampires. You may have heard of them. Namira and Duncan Van Barov. Humans were afraid of them. I was very young, but I remember angry humans traveling all the way to our lands to beat on our doors and set fire to our gardens. Mother and father thought of running, but where else could we go? No matter where we ran, humans would always be there, and they would always be frightened of us. And then, one night, they broke into our castle. Father killed a human to protect us. A father. A husband. The humans ran. And then the next day, the vampire hunters came. And that was that. It was over 2 decades ago, little one. I've shed my tears for them. But should you choose to stay with me, I could take you to the gravestones in the garden one of these nights. I'd like that. As for other friends, they all fell to the same fate. One by one, our brethren were hunted down. Some were staked in their sleep. Some were slain by hordes of holy blades. The worst ones were tied to crosses and forced to face the sunrise. I often wonder if it is just me now, holding on to this castle. For what reason, though? I do not know. I suppose it's because what else can I do? Little one? Oh, I did not realize you had dozed off. I'll pull the covers up so you do not get cold. There. Sleep tight, little one. You've been through so much, but you are safe here. Rest your head and sleep well. Dream of better pastures. I will watch over you. And if those bandits come back to avenge their friends or take you away, I will make them choke on their own blood. I swear it. You are safe. And that's all that matters. Pleasant dreams.